Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. And in today's video, I want to talk about the 10 most important things that you should know about this game to get ahead. Now, this is, I would say, broadly a new player video, but there's probably going to be a few things in here that will apply to late game players as well. Everything that I'm going to be talking about is all about how you can do the best that you can do on a daily basis to get ahead in Raid Shadow Legends. There's a lot in this game, but there's a lot of things to think about as well if you want to do well in events, if you want to be efficient, all those kinds of things to get yourself ahead a little bit faster. Now, before we get started with the video, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid Shadow Legends yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen or in the link below to get yourself Karato Fox Hunter of the Shadowkin faction, as well as 3 amazing epics to go alongside him: Ugo, Tagore, and Deacon Armstrong. Some of these which are really amazing. And you'll also get yourself another legendary character, the Void Epic Tahanarak of the Barbarians faction, by using the promo code Desert Queen within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. So that's 3 epics and 2 legendary characters to start your account off. All right, and in no particular order, we're going to start off with the Summoning Portal and Shards. So my number 1 tip for new players is going to be making sure that you hoard your mystery shards. This is going to be, we're going to talk about shards in general, but mystery shards can make a significant difference when it comes to completing events. Namely, events that are often found in Titan events and Fusion events, Champion Chase, and Summon Rush in particular, that are going to help you bridge the gap on those gaps, well, with mystery shards. The other things that I want to talk about is the other shards. So Ancient, Void, Primal, Sacred Shards, all of these shards. When it comes to new players, and I mean within the first 3 months, that kind of range, typically you're going to want to wait to pull these when there's 2x bonuses. Now, you might have seen recently that there was one for Primal Shards where they were doubled up on their rates. When it comes to new players, you know, I think that it's very hard to clear events like Fusion events, especially if you're free to play within the first 3 months. So what I typically recommend is pulling on these shards when they're at 2x, which means that they have a double chance at legendaries, epics, which is a pretty big deal. So that means you would get 16% epics, 1% legendaries on ancients and voids, and then sacred shards. This would also go up to about 12% for a legendary. Some of these things, these 2x events, are some of the best things that you could get as a newer player. Now, when it comes to later players, like 3 to 4 months and beyond, I typically view shards as event currency. So it's fuel for events, and that's pretty much the only reason why I would pull them now, unless I'm doing a particular whale stint. But aside from that, you want to think about your shards, like how many shards you have. You want to think of them as food for events. So by pulling them, you're going to get points to clear these events. And that's why I'm holding on to this. If you've been following my channel at all, then you know that I've been holding this for the Turtles events, which are probably going to be around the corner in the not so distant. We also have a Fusion event that's going to be coming around the corner pretty soon as well. We don't know what that character is going to be. So I'm really just holding on to these to make sure I have enough to clear some of these events. And this is my first and most important tip, honestly. And tip number 2, now this is going to be alongside what we talked about in tip number 1 about shards, is that make sure that you're running your Demon Lord clan boss every single day. Make sure you're doing this because this is super important to get more shards. A lot of your shard income is going to, from Ancients, Voids, and Sacreds particularly, is going to come from your progress in Demon Lord. This is one of your most important things to do as a new player, and even as like a later player as well. Making sure that eventually you progress your way up all the way to Ultra Nightmare. A Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare, making sure that you can farm this every single day is going to be very important. But even if you're not quite there yet, doing things like Hard and Brutal, getting to the ends of these chests, because that's where you're going to get not only your shards, but also your books as well. So Ancient and Void shards do come from lower difficulties, but it's not until the last chest in Nightmare, which is where you're going to get Sacred shards. And then Ultra Nightmare, the drop rates are a lot higher. So what I personally recommend is if you're in this like middle position where you can kind of breach Nightmare or Ultra Nightmare, but you can't one key it, what I would still recommend is still doing this, right? And also making sure that you're in a clan that can actually kill this every single day, because that's going to get you a second chest, and that's going to make it really important for your progression. So If you're in the position where maybe you can do like one key or two keys to the final chest in Nightmare, but you can't really get to that final chest in Ultra Nightmare, I would still recommend getting some of these other chests in Ultra Nightmare because they do have a very high drop rate for Ancient Shards and Void Shards, much higher than, say, the End Brutal chest or even the End Hard chest. It's much better if you can break into any of the chests into Ultra Nightmare. That is very important. But make sure that you still try to do your best to maintain getting into the ultimate chest for Nightmare. That way you can still get some Sacred Shards and Legendary Books, which come from there. Tip number 3, this one's going to be a little bit of a quick one here. Make sure you do all of your daily objectives. This is really, really important. You see that I've cleared all of my daily quests. You get some really good energy in here as well. You get some gems for doing the all clear. And this eventually feeds into your weeklies and monthlies. Because if you notice that the weekly is actually only 5 days worth, you get a free Ancient Shard every 5 days by doing this. You also get the double XP boost. This is really important. And then on the monthly is 30 days of those daily completions, you get a free Void Shard, and then you get a free Sacred Shard as a result of that. So all of this is really important. And then the advanced quests, try to do as many as you possibly can. Maybe you won't have enough time or just can't do it for whatever reason, especially some of these later on, you have to start doing the live arenas and they're only open during specific times. But these are really important across the top. So you get a 4-star check and a 5-star check, and an epic and a legendary book. So doing your advanced quests is going to get you more energy, going to give you more resources, and all in all, it's just really important to do. So make sure you try to do as many as you possibly can, alongside making sure you get your daily quest completed. Tip number 4. Now, this is going to be the gem mine. If you're a new player, make sure that you get this gem mine unlocked, especially for those of us who are going to be playing long term. So you do have to spend, if I'm not mistaken, 500 gems. I want to say it's 500 gems for unlocking this, and 500 for each other level after that, which I think it's about 1,500 gems total. I'm going to feel like an idiot if it wasn't 500 gems. But my point is that you need to unlock this when you can, when you're going through, especially in the early game, getting this unlocked. And then when you get this upgraded to maximum, you're getting 15 gems basically every 22 hours. So this is eventually going to be a long-term return, but if you're playing every single day over a long period of time, this is additional gems that you're going to have for your daily gameplay, which you can then use for energy and events and things like this, which we'll talk about here in a minute when it comes to gems. All right, and this brings us to tip number 5, just on the back of the gem mines. Hey, I just got an extra gem there. Is saving your gems for when you need it. And I pretty much only use gems now anyways to feed my energy. And this is going to be how I'm going to be able to complete my events, my tournaments, all this thing, because a lot of this game is energy based. So for every 40 gems, you're going to be able to get a full energy pack. But what I would recommend though is you don't, because it's a full energy restore, until you get to the point where your energy cap is 130, which I forget which account level this is. I want to say it's somewhere in the mid 50s, that it's going to be a little bit less efficient because it does fully refill your energy. But I know at the lower levels, you're not energy capped at 130. And so therefore the conversion is not as good as when you are capped. So make sure you hold on to enough gem supplies to be able to clear those events and tournaments that you want to do, because it's going to be really important, and honestly one of the most important resources in Raid Shadow Legends. Tip number 6. Make sure you're refreshing the arena as much as you possibly can. Now, I understand that this is going to sound kind of tedious, but this is available every 15 minutes, and this is just really... Oh, I forgot I'm still doing a multi-battle. I'll do this later. So making sure that you do as many arena battles every single day as you possibly can. Again, sounds mighty tedious because it is. But that's because the Great Hall is just super important, right? The Great Hall is not only important to you getting Arbiter unlocked a lot faster. All of these stats are really important to the game. Make sure that you do upgrade your accuracies first, though, for Arbiter. That's really important. You do need 1 of these to 10. And then later on, when you want to unlock in the Ramantu missions, you need to have like 5 of these at 10. So overall, this is just super important. And this is going to take like over a year. I'm like 8 months in, and I only have like 4 maxed. It's crazy the amount of time that you need to spend on this, but all of these stats are really important to your overall roster, and that's why you need a Classic Arena every single day as much as you possibly can to get more of these medals. And tip number 7, don't forget your faction wars. Now, I did a video not so long ago talking about how I have Lydia still sitting here ready to collect, and that's because I finally managed to finish my faction wars. These are really important. There's a lot of great, amazing glyphs, which is going to help upgrade your gear, but there's also just really good crafting materials that you're going to need to get and craft more gear, such as particularly perception. I think that's some of the most important gear in the game. Honestly, it's one of the best easily craftable gear sets in the game. But even if you can't make too much progress, make sure that you're able to do this, and even just use the gear swap, the global gear sets, right, to swap into some of your characters and do this every single day. Don't forget to do this. And while I'm on the subject, I do want to talk about the advanced mission for, and I've already done it, but it's the tag fight 5 and 5 tag team arena series. This is typically going to give you 6 extra keys for each of the faction crypts as well, and this stacks up every single day. So it kind of goes back to the whole advanced quest thing. Make sure you're doing this particular one to give yourself more of those faction crypt keys. Tip number 8, we're going to be talking about masteries. Now, particularly, I want to talk about how you can get this done really quick if you're a new player. So this is largely going to pertain to newer players. But if you are within the first month or so, even the first couple of weeks, I would spend the 800 gems to max out your mastery set for your top DPS character. Now, for a lot of people who are starting in the last little while, that's probably going to be your Michelangelo. When I started playing, it was Alice the Wanderer. So your main DPS character that you're going to have in your roster, make sure you do this because it's going to make your character do a lot more damage by having all of these masteries built into the character for 800 gems. I would only do this for one, because once you get to the point to be able to actually farm Minotaur, and especially Minotaur stage 14 and 15, it's going to be a lot quicker and a lot more efficient for you to just spend the gems and the energy to do this rather than the 800 gems. It does take a little bit of time, but now that we have the super raids, at least for right now, you can get this done for, I believe it's approximately like 600 gems. So you do save about 200 by doing it through the actual grind process, but only if you're able to farm stage 15. So do keep that in mind. But for the beginning, for new players, you do want to make sure that you get your top DPS maxed out immediately, because that's going to help a lot. All right, tip number 9, we're going to be doing a double one here. We're going to be talking about Doom Tower and Cursed City. Even if you're a newer player and you just recently unlocked these game modes, make sure that you're doing this, because this is free resources. That's how I look at Doom Tower and Cursed City. It's basically free stuff. So if you're in the part where you're just still running normal, make sure you're doing this, because there's some great stuff in here. There's some chickens, there's some charms, there's some other energy resources, there's all sorts of stuff in here, even if you're just climbing normal mode, to be able to make some progress there. And don't fret if you can't actually clear everything, because this resets every single month, which means that you're going to get new resources every single month. And same with Cursed City. Even the normal mode, I think that by the time that you unlock Cursed City, you should probably be able to do a good amount of the first section of this. And again, this is free resources stuff that is going to reset every single month, and it's important that you do it. You can only do about 8 nodes per day on Cursed City and 10 on Doom Tower, but just try to make as much progress as you possibly can on these two before they reset every month. And tip number 10 is going to be something that I've spoken about before, and I probably already spoke about in this video a little bit when I came to faction crypts. So now that the gear removal is free, honestly, the fact that you can go to the preset manager and make some global presets of gear for your characters that you can swap around has made it significantly easier for me to progress in Raid Shadow Legends, whether it's faction crypts, whether it's certain dungeons, or even in Arena, where I've made specific sets to use temporarily. And I have all of these different gear sets, largely with character names, because I know who to give them back to. But you can make a variety of different gear sets and you can swap them around for free. If you're a new player, wow, this is the best time to play Raid Shadow Legends, because back when it cost money to swap your gear around, you could spend upwards to 500,000 silver, honestly, just moving them back and forth between characters every single time. And now you don't need to, which means that I would say that there's a lot less gear that you actually need to keep for that reason, because you can move them around. You want to maintain your best set of gear, and then those couple of sets of gear you can just move around between characters if you so wish. So this is one of the best quality of life features that people should take advantage of every single day. Just remember where you actually had your characters, which main set of gear on which characters, so you don't do like an auto sim run of Demon Lord and wonder why your damage was so low, because that's definitely happened to me. So that is my final tip, and something that has allowed me to progress really fast in some of my areas of the game, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Now, that's not an exhaustive list, honestly. I could have done the 5 more at least, but hopefully that some of these represent my most important tips for you to also Guardian Ring. Make sure you unlock this. I'm gonna do a this is an extra one for free. Make sure you unlock this, but don't upgrade the slots. It's not necessary, and then just use this to upgrade your food every single day. Okay, that's the last one. But yeah, before we go, I do want to remind people that if you haven't played Raid Shadow Legends yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen or in the link description below to get Karato, Fox Hunter, Legendary of the Shadowkin, and 3 amazing epics to go alongside him: Ugo, Tagore, and Deacon Armstrong at account level 15, 30, and 40. And don't forget about Tahanarak, the Void Legendary Champion from the Barbarians faction. Super rare to get a Void Legendary. Use the promo code Desert Queen within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. That's it for me in this video, everyone. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, that was the wrong scene. Okay, bye. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.